Good evening, guys. This is Leffinen. I'm giving you another video today. The reason for that is because we have some events that are going on. For most people in their main account and everything, they are not going to be able to go through and see these. You will have one of them, but you will not have the others. So this is kind of a precursor to what is to come so that you have a good idea as far as like, hey, I might want to look out for this event and actually take advantage of it. So we're going to be covering both Hellforge and also Arachne. I'm going to try and have it to where I do a video over each event as far as the main ones. When we get to the smaller ones, it's kind of like, hey, just read it. It's not that difficult and everything for you to be able to read and figure out how the heck to take advantage of it. Okay, so first things first, if you can see on this video screen where we have Epic Monster Hunters. Epic Monster Hunters are my bread and butter when it comes down to it. Because what they do for you is they have this huge, insane bonus whenever it comes down to fighting epic monsters. So strength against epic monsters is plus 1000%. Now, if you think about it, whenever you have Arachne or you have one of the other, major ones like Ragnarok with both Fenrir and Germander or whatever the heck his name is, the snake, you also have Doomsday, some of the other ones and all. These guys are the best ones for it. Now, I use these guys for basically my mercs for every single occasion, but what they really specialize in is the strength against epic monsters. This is where for $49 you are getting a hell of a bargain. And it usually pops up under the limited section. And the way that you get these guys or get access to these guys is through the Triumphal event. So I'm going to go through and show you exactly why that matters. Now they're having this big sale. It's pretty cool and everything. So if you look at your events, so over here on the left-hand side, if you're playing online, so I'm going to click on that. And then what I've recommended over and over again to everybody, and I hope that you guys are actually heeding this warning, is when you have the 3 different levels of the Triumphal, you have such insane prizes that are basically going through and being offered to you, like mercs and epic tar. You have, silver galore. You have building resources. You have all this other kind of stuff. And then you have also right here, and it's not going to pop up as far as like, oh, look at this. But you can see on it, it says time-limited mercenary offer. Obtaining this item will grant you access to a time-limited offer on mercenaries for use against epic monsters. This is the main reason why I recommend that everybody get at least the gold pass. Because once you get to gold, you get access to these epic monster level hunters. And I promise you, I use these guys all the time. And they are the way that I have been able to build through Valor so freaking quick. Other people get these $250 specials or whatever, and you can get them through like the sales and like special for Arachne Swarm and everything. But then when you look at what exactly these people are good at, strength against swarm ranged units. So when you're fighting the swarm ranged units, it's giving you plus 4,000%. But then outside of that one event, these guys are basically just cannon fodder. Now, granted, they're still basically the equivalent of a level 8 guardsman or whatever, but they're still not that great. Now, when it comes down to the epic monster hunters, they have it to where they are good against any epic monster. Now, granted, you have a 1,000% versus a 4,000%. So what you really have to decide is, are these mercs going to live past this event? Am I going to blow this event out of the water, have it to where I attack them constantly? Because then if you're getting this 4,000% bonus up against the swarm, and it shows 4,000 again on this guy, and also 4,000 again on this guy. So if you're doing against the swarm, then yes, this is the better package to do. But let me also show you another thing. So sometimes what they do is, I'm going to go on over to my other account, which is under the name of Toli, T-O-L-I. It's computer generated. It's not my personal pick or anything, but you know what? Sometimes it's good to have an alternative personality, just a little bit. So on this side, earlier today, they had it to where they were offering out this $99 special. I don't know if it was just because it was on my phone or if it was because, hey, I struck while the iron was hot, like right initially. So right after the event began, they had a Hellforge special where they offered you less mercs than this amount, but it was only $99. And they had a times 2 component to it. So when you see a package like that to where you could get a times 2, that means that the gold that they're also offering is doubled. So instead of it being, I think it was 360,000, it was when you got the times 2 part, you get 720,000. So I spent $200 and I got the basically 108,000 in gold for the price of $200. Whereas usually it would cost me $250 in order to get 1 million gold. Instead, I'm sorry, not 108,000, 1.08 million. So I got extra 80,000 gold because of the fact that I was buying it in the times 2 aspect. They'll give you the exact same package, the exact same items, but they will give you more times 2 for the exact same amount of cost. So if I did this at $250, I'd have to spend $500, but I would get 3 million in gold because it would be 1 million right now. And then the next one would have a 2 million down here on it. So if you're doing times 2, they are great ways in order to be able to do it. Sometimes they do it even over here on the Epic Monster Hunters, but it's not that often. If you see it, sometimes you might want to jump on it. Now, for a $250 one, most people do not have $500 sitting around, so I completely understand why you would not do that. So personally, Epic Monster Hunters are good for the long term. If you're going to just have one event that you're just going to hit really hard, like Ragnarok or Arachne or whatever, then yes, getting the package and then getting the times 2 part of it is a great way to go. Because right now I have it to where even though I only spent $200 and they were offering the $99 one, I ended up having it to where I basically got $300 worth of mercs for only $200. Pretty smart way to do it. And if you do it to where you're like, oh, I'm going to do the 250, then you're basically spending $500, but you're getting $750 worth of mercs. Either which way, you still make out really well. All right, now that I've covered the sales part and what exactly for these 2 events you might want to do, might not want to do, let's go through and actually take a look at it. So under my Toli event, which is basically in the Beowulf Kingdom, where I am just trying to quickly accelerate in order to get up to G7. The reason why it's G7 is because at G6, I get Beowulf, but when I get to G7, I get another 200 puzzle pieces for him, and it also increases Beowulf by 70% strength across the entire army and 70% health across the entire army. That is a huge bonus. This is the reason why you have players that are going absolutely bonko nuts with purchases. That are going for G9 because they're trying to get Beowulf as leveled up as possible because they figure that it's going to be well worth the money. Can't really blame them, but I know that one player in particular in my clan, if I had to guess, because of all the times that I basically log on, I'll go under clan, I'll look at the gifts, and then you see the gifts versus the triumphal gifts. This triumphal gifts has probably had it to where I think I've seen over 1,000 gifts towards this one player, which means that he has bought at least 300 different packages since he's been doing this thing. That is a huge amount of money. I don't care whether or not it's a $9.99, $19.99, or $49 or $99 or a $250 one. It's still a crap ton of money. Now, granted, it's probably going to be worth it, but you got to ask yourself, are you going to play this game that much that you want to be top 100 in the world as far as your attack power? And if so, then yeah, G9 on Beowulf, challenge does make sense. All right, now that we've covered that, let's go through and look at these 2 events and what exactly they go through and they give you. So we have Arachne Swarm and we have Hellforge. Hellforge is completely dedicated to your armor. Arachne Swarm is completely dedicated to basically your valor points. Now, I'm going to explain exactly why, or I say Arachne is completely dedicated that way. So with Hellforge, I did Hellforge first Here's the reason why. When you're in the Beowulf Kingdom, you do not have the ability to get like good armor and everything in order to help you all that easily. So I went through and I equipped my guys first after battling on here, and then I used the upgraded armor to help me on Arachne over here. So if you have it to where Hellforge comes up the exact same time as another event, do the Hellforge first so that this way it helps you with the other event in order to get Valor easier and quicker. Less amount of dying for the exact same amount of Valor. So here's one way. Here's how Hellforge goes. For those of you that have never seen it and everything, I love this event. The only bad thing about this event, it does not give you any Valor points. So you will battle and you will get your butt kicked and you will die and everything else, but you will get absolutely no Valor out of it. What it does give you, though, is what I'm about to show you. So they have the shop component, and I'll explain what exactly that is. And then they have these different markers as far as how far you are going as far as points-wise. So I'm going to show you the show all so that you know generally what is in it, to know, hey, I might want to go this far, or oh, is this worth it type of thing. So at the very beginning and all, they're giving you these coins. They are called a Hellforge coin. Hellforge coins are used in the shop in order to basically go through and buy your armor. So initially, I had to get 90,000 like tournament points in order to be able to get 12,000 Hellforge coins, which is very simple to get. It's not that hard, guys. And granted, this amount is also dependent upon where your hero is at. So if your hero is at a higher level, this amount of points is going to be at a higher level. If you have it to where you're at a lower level, it ain't going to be 90,000. It might be like 30,000 or 20,000 or 15,000 or something like that. But you get a decent idea as far as what you're shooting for. So they initially have your first 4 sets of Hellforge, Hellforge, Hellforge. And then they go through and they give you some immortal essence, some essence of the immortals. So this is also good for going through and getting your captains up in their star level. They go through and they give you some of the tournament for the Triumphal challenge, and 210 scrolls is a huge amount. That is more than you basically ever get on the average like event, as far as prizes go. And it gets you down on the prizes columns and rows a whole hell of a lot further because you are getting these scrolls this way. Like Arachne is given scrolls, and so is Hellforge. So this was a very good day for all the prizes that I got through a Triumphal challenge. It also gives you some regular summoning scrolls, or not regular, but the elite version. And then we go down and it goes through and it gets like, oh, you can get coins. And then, oh, we're doing Immortal Essence. And oh, you can get coins. And oh, Immortal Essence. And it does that back and forth. And then after a while, it's just like, oh, it's just all Hellforge coins. Like, you're just in it for the armor at this point. So completely understand. All right. So that's the basis of what you have to do. So you have to fight the Hellforge monster. And I'm going to show you exactly what he looks like and everything and give you a good idea as far as what you have to do. Of course, it pops you up back into this. Suckos. All right, so this is our monster and everything. Now, granted, you might want to have it to where you have a portal close by so you can constantly go through and attack him. And by constantly, I mean do 3 attack rounds and then stop and rebuild your army because they're going to get depleted very quickly. So against the Hellforge guy, granted, the Hellforge special is really great as far as like being able to go through and attack him. If you have the epic monster hunters, that does a good job too. So the main thing that you need to do is when you're sending your guardsmen, do not send any catapults, do not send any archers, and do not send any griffins. They get whacked around very, easily, and they don't really give you very much. Plus, they're very expensive in order to go through and replace. So it's better just to go through and be like, you know what? I'm going to send my swordsmen. If you have your specialists up high enough, I'm going to send my riders, and I'm also going to send my spearmen. Those are the 3 guys that I would send. Now, granted, I don't have, my specialists aren't up high enough level-wise, so I ended up basically just sending a whole crap ton of riders and spearmen. It's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. 2 spearmen for every single rider. But that's also the way that when you go through and you start building your army, you'll notice that the number of riders is half the amount of what your spearmen are. So you battle, battle, battle. And then as you're going through, make sure that you're upgrading your armor so that once you go through and you're like, oh, I'm going to hit claim on the, like, because it'll pop up with, hey, you got 1 thing waiting or 2 things waiting or whatever. You click onto your Hellforge, you go through and you claim your different, prizes of 27,000, 200 coins. And then afterwards, you might want to go on up to shop. So here's the good thing about Hellforge. In Hellforge, it gives you a set of equipment where it does not matter what your materials currently are. You could have the absolute worst level of materials to where you're going to be in the gray zone. And if you battle it out and get enough tournament points or whatever, you can easily get an orange set of armor. Now, I know that they have like actual formal, names and everything, but I don't know. I don't care. So initially and everything, I was thinking like, hey, I actually have enough for my purple and everything. But then you'll notice that the jump and the increase. So if I'm doing just for guardsman level equipment, it's going to give me 12%. But then if I drop down, this thing is like 1/5 of the cost. And this would be 1/5 of the cost of the blue, or 20% of what exactly the green is, 20% of what exactly the blue is. The blue is 20% of the purple. And it's only a slight drop off. So I felt absolutely no issue or no qualms about dropping down a level. So I could go through and I could max out a set or 2. So then what I did was I went through and I bought basically guardsman equipment for my main fighters. I had no equipment, no armor for basically any of my captains. The only one that had any armor was my main hero, and he had the plus 1.5% bonus. Ugh. Needless to say, it's crap. They give it to you for free no matter what your materials are, so it worked out, somewhat nicely. So then, actually, you know what, granted, I think you might actually need some materials for it, but it's so easy to get them that, don't worry. But anyways, so then you could go through and you could buy your sets. So here's the ones that I did and what I would recommend to most people. If you have your specialists up at the exact same level as your guardsmen, then this one actually comes into play, the specialist authority. I do not, and therefore I do not care. And plus, I don't really have a specialist type of army where it's just a whole bunch of swordsmen that are ready to scale walls and go through and invade somebody else's city. Engineer, if you're going through and you're attacking elven cities and you're doing a huge amount of catapults in order to just bombard the crap out of the elves, then I can completely understand why you would have an army like this. I don't attack elven cities that much, so I don't need them. Honored Ruler. This one is really useful, and I'll show you why. I have a set of armor now for my main hero, for him for fighting, and I have a set for him to be able to go through and be around the city. Most of the time, your hero is going to be sitting around the city and doing absolutely nothing. So when you do that, you might want to go through and increase your production of building resources. Also, it helps you out your silver and food. It helps out your construction speed, and it also goes through and helps out your research speed. Now, let me put it to you this way. When I'm going for guardsman level 7, and currently with the way that I have Farhad, and I think he's at like level 131, and then I also have all these other bonuses. I have premium that's over here on the right-hand side, right? This P thing. I also have it to where I have the plus with like all these other bonuses incorporated into it. And then I have my VIP status up here. Like I have everything decked the heck out. And I still had this armor stuff. And with my guy having it. And for guardsman level 7, it was 748 days. For the level 10 of the 2 prerequisites that you need to do before you can actually go through and try and upgrade your guardsman to level 7. That is a huge amount. So think of it this way. If you had regular armor on and then you went through and you added the research speed, that would cut out 5%. So if you're at 748, that is cutting out roughly 38 days of research. And for a lot of people that have a shortage of speed ups, that is a huge amount. Anytime that any of my clanmates were clicking help, it was taking off 4 days. But if I had this armor also, then I could get it down to, instead of 748, it might be at 710. So that does make a big, huge difference, because a lot of people, they have speed ups, but they do not have unlimited speed ups. It is to where those things will get burned through the fastest in this game. So having a set of armor for your main hero, that is for when they're sitting around their city and doing absolutely nothing, which is 95% of the time, this is a very good idea to have. Go through and get it to where you can increase your construction speed, your research speed, and it also goes through and helps you out with silver and food production and your building resources. Very good idea. Another set of armor that I would or that I would definitely make sure that you get is Swift Wayfarer. Now, here on this one increases your gathering speed on the world map. And it's not like by a little bit, it's by a lot. So look on the just the silver level, 25%. Now, when you're talking about Straw or any other character, mainly Straw because he's the best gatherer, he has the most amount of attributes that are for gathering. I went through and I equipped him up with a green level initially, because I had the materials for it. So I'm like, yes, I'm going to do this. But then when I got to Hellforge, then I could drastically go through and upgrade it. Now, granted, I concentrated more on my fighters than I did on my captains that are basically designated for, like, basically gathering. But this is a really good idea for you to go through and upgrade. And on this one, I actually got it to where both of my captains that are going to be gathering, I was able to get them both a set of purple. So I got the light amethyst or whatever. I got the hood. And then I also got my armor itself. I got those 3 items times 2 of the 2 sets at the purple level. That increases my gathering speed by 100% per item. Think of it this way. Now I have 3 items that one captain is going to have. Even without enchantments, I am currently sitting at 300% increase in speed. If you're taking 4 or 5 hours to get a $2 million resource, now you're taking about an hour to an hour and a half. You should be having it to where your captains are constantly going through and gathering. One captain should be always gathering resources, no matter what. Have it to where Straw is in there. The only time where you ever take him out is whenever you have an event like Arachne that you need all 3 captains for. And then the other event would be like if you're doing Clash of Thrones and you're fighting another city, you could take all of your captains and your hero with you. It makes more advantage in order to take Straw out of it and then go through and plug them in a different way. The other person I'd like to go through and be able to use, and for those of you that are like, who the heck is Straw? So when you're looking at your captains, he's the short, fat, pudgy one with the absolutely great beard. So let's go through and look at, like, switching out Cleopatra. Straw is this guy. This is the dude that's best for gathering. Now, another one that I use for gathering is Sophia. So let's get rid of Straw. Let's plug in Sophia. I like her because of the fact that she has the health bonus that she provides. So she is a good idea to have. And then the other one that I would recommend because of the fact that, it's useful in certain times is Helen. Now, Helen, I don't have her under the Beowulf account, but I do under my main one. Helen goes through and it increases your training speed of your troops and also gives you more food production on the city level. So she does an absolutely great job. And so I like having her, Sophia, and Straw as your gatherers. All right, so that's the reason why you would do a Swift Wayfarer type of thing. The other one, let me get out of this because I just realized I could be going back into the Hellforge thing. Let's go to our shop. Okay, so The Guardsman Courage, definitely, absolutely to go through and recommend. The Honored Ruler, I would suggest one set, all 6 items for your main hero. Swift Wayfarer, you should have at least 2 sets. Because ideally, when you're not busy going through and fighting epics, then you have it to where you would have like Farhad in your city doing your research from all the valor points that you gained, and then you would have like Stror, and then also Sophia that would be out gathering building resources, and then you would just go through and switch out like Farhad for Aurora in order to be able to build your buildings. You also have a Tomb Raider. I did get a set of this, and by a set I mean only the 3 items because I needed it for Carter. Now, granted, you're not going to have it to where you need all 6 items because of the fact that you really only need one person that is great at raiding crypts. If you have it to where you're constantly sending Carter out on crypt runs, you're going to burn through your tar really, really quickly. So that would be to where one person is more than enough in order to handle what exactly you need to raid. So I got him like the battle axe looking thing. I got him the hood. And then I got him the like claw coat or whatever the heck. That's another good one in order to go through and have. And then I scroll down a little bit. These are a little bit too specific, like melee versus this versus that. Most people don't have an entire army that would be captained by basically Leonidas, where they are all melee. Every single one of them is spearmen, or they're swordsmen. Yay! So yeah, I'm not doing that. And then when we look down a little bit further, there's some double dipping tie over between the Omniscience and then also when you go further up the Tomb Raider one. I just did Tomb Raider. And then as you go down, there's the Emperor's Wrath, which is really good. And that one I got for my main hero. So my main hero has Emperor's Wrath and then also the Honored Ruler. Honored Ruler for whenever they're in the city, and then the Emperor's Wrath whenever they're going through and they're fighting. This one gives a bonus to the entire army. So if you have it to where you're doing a major march or whatever, or even just, fighting your rare monsters that you have to as part of Triumphal Challenge or as part of like your daily quests or whatever, then this is a really good idea in order to go through and have. So one set of armor for your hero, that is your Emperor's Wrath. One set of armor for your hero, that is your Honored Ruler. So we're up to 2 sets. Swift Wayfarer, at least 1 set, probably 2. I mean, you could do up to 3. Don't need more than that. I did 2, so right now we're up at 4 sets of armor. By the way, I hold my fingers weird whenever I'm counting before I go like this. And I can never get this one to go before that one, so I don't know. But anyways, 4 sets so far. Tomb Raider, that's 5. And then after that, I would highly suggest that you go for whatever other points that you get for Guardsman Courage. Because Guardsman Courage, that's going to be for like Cleopatra. That'll be for, Ada, if you decide to use her, Leonidas. I also put a set onto, what's her name? Oh, Doria. Because the reason why I gave Doria a set, let me show you. Under Arachne, and I'm going to get into this right now, actually. So let's go through and get us a new captain. We go over here. Where is Doria? All right, right here. Here you go. Doria is really particularly good at... Wake up. Oh, there it is. Doria is really good at Valor points. So here's the recommendation I have for everybody whenever you do Arachne. First, make sure that your bonuses are correctly enabled. So let's take a look at our bonuses, because there's a few different things that you got to look at, right? Before you fight Arachne. Do not make this mistake. Make sure that your Valor points have that increase. Make sure your experience points have that increase. And then, Like, so it starts out with most people to where they're looking at this. Valor points, go through and add them. This one is a 6-hour one. It's pretty common whenever other people are getting packages that you could go through and get these for free. So you can either buy it or you could get that. Then the other thing that you need to do is our conquest points. Now, conquest points and everything, I would enable it. Like, I just enable it right now because of the fact that I don't want to forget later. And I'm just going to use these up because, quite frankly, I know I'll get more of those anyways for free from my other clan members, to where I don't even have to worry about that. Army strength, make sure you get that added up. All right, so now we have that for the next few days. Army health, add those in. And I'm pretty sure all my bonuses just expired. I usually check them every single few hours. And I know that it was like coming close to time. I didn't know if it had started or what, that I was going to lose it, but it's okay. All right, so we got it for 17 hours. And then after that point, you know, I might go through and spend some gold in order to get better march speed. Then on the lower part, each one of these different production things are really, really super useful. So whether or not it's resource gathering on the world stage, you have your food production, silver production, lumber, stone, and then finally your iron. Make sure that you check these every single few hours just in case one of them goes out. Because if other people are spending their money and you're getting these triumphal gifts or whatever, chances are you're going to find these in them. Or if you're buying a sale or something, they usually have these in them. So these are real useful for making it to where even though your city can only, you don't like want to upgrade your buildings all that much. If you do this, this will help you out a lot. All right, so all of our bonuses are good. So let's look at that. Oh, wait, sorry, I almost forgot. VIP status. If your VIP is not currently on, make sure that it's on. Your VIP status, like right now, I have it to where I think I actually have some points I got to add. Always make sure that you check this every single few hours also, because whether or not it's from you or from somebody else, I think it's mainly from me that I would be getting those. But that just increased my level a good bit. So now I'm up to 18, almost 19. That would be nice. And then if you look at the benefits that this thing has, this is like your gathering speed, your construction speed, your technology speed, your army strength, your army health, plus 14% for both of those. And I think after this point, after we get to like level 18, I think every single level that you go up adds 1% to the army strength, army health, march speed, all that kind of stuff. So make sure your VIP is on. VIP, a lot of times they will give it to where you get like stuff like this that you'll see pop up. And I'm just like, oh, heck yeah. You know, this is all for hours. So now I'm at 8 days, 8 hours more. And then I also have these things for like 1 day. I have 88 days. And this account isn't nearly as developed as the other one. I guarantee you guys, if you look at it, you probably have these in your account and you just didn't even realize it. But make sure you have VIP activated. So right now we have it to where we looked at our bonuses, this one. We have it to where we looked at our VIP, that's this one up here. The other bonus that you need to make sure that you have on before you do a lot of fighting is if you want premium. Premium is $4.99 a week, but it is very well worth it. So they have great ruler, they have great marshal, and they have great archaeologist. I use great ruler whenever I am not going through and fighting constantly. Like if I'm just sitting around my city and doing upgrades on buildings and on research and stuff like that, having great ruler activated is the best way to do it because it's plus 75% to construction and research. That's huge. And then when you look at down at the bottom with the great marshal and everything, it's plus 25% strength to your army, plus 25% health to your army, and then you got 50% silver, 50% health. So this is a great thing to do. For those of you that raid crypts a lot, great archaeologist is a good way to go. It's plus 100% bonus in experience, 50% in efficiency. So you spend less tar going through and getting to completing those crypts. And then plus 50% in tar capacity, and then plus 100% march speed to crypt, so you speed the heck up. So this is $4.99 a week. I usually do this just because of the fact that I think that this is a huge benefit to me, especially when you start getting to the upper levels. This is so well worth it. I can't even explain to you how much worth it is. So we have our regular plus sign on the side. We have our premium. We have our VIP. Those are the three main things that you need to make sure that are active and that are upgraded as much as you possibly can. Don't forget to look at them. All right, so now that we got that, let's look at Arachne. For those of you that are just like, dude, why is he talking so much before he just gets right to the meat of it? It's because if you fight where you're just constantly clicking on stuff and not paying attention to everything else in the game, you're going to miss out so badly. And then you're going to be out of money, out of gold, out of silver, out of lumber and resources and everything, to the point to where you're going to be hating it because you're going to be sitting there bored, or you're going to spend a lot of money in order to make up for it. And you're like, man, I could have done this for $1,000 less this month. And dear gosh, I'm an idiot. So let's look at Arachne. Now, Arachne for prizes is not that great. The reason why she's not good for prizes is because the Valor points are so easy to come by on this one. This event is probably the best for Valor, or it's slightly less than Ragnarok. It depends on how you fight Ragnarok. If you fight Ragnarok where you're going against a snake, you're not getting Valor. If you go have it to where you're going against Fenrir, you are getting Valor. But you do have to go against the snake a little bit, because there is always a little bit of prizes of like just strictly Valor points, to where it is so well worth it to do a little bit of the snake first and then do the Fenrir the wolf second. I recommended to my clanmates, I'm just like, guys, do about 30% of your attack on the snake first, and then do the other 70% of your planned attacks. If you're like, hey, I'm doing 10 rounds, 3 rounds on the snake, 7 rounds on the wolf. If you're doing 20, you're doing 6 and 14. You get the picture. Now for Arachne, it has it to where you're allowed to use more than one captain at a time. So you are allowed to basically take 3 captains, which is huge, especially when it comes down to Valor. Shadow City or Shadow Kingdom or whatever the heck it's called, it allows you to take multiples also. But when it comes down to it, I love Arachne because I love my Valor points. I love to do the research and everything, so it is good. Now, Shadow City is good for conquest points, though. But when the next event comes up for that, I will be doing a video over that. So now you can see that when you do Arachne, here's the only prizes that it gives. It's only 3 of them. You will have added XP, added Valor, and then you will also have the scroll of a 210 scrolls worth that it will give you, which is really, really nice for the people that have all 3 columns or all 3 rows for Triumphal. So then, as far as like what it allows you to do, so let's look at her, right? I'm going to do a quick little, here's how I would do it. But please, oh please, everybody do it the way that you want to. Because there's 2 ways to approach this. There is the way of, hey, I'm going to max out my Valor points. And then the other thing that it's good for is if you want to have it to where you're like taking the baby captains. Now, here, I'm going to explain what I mean by baby captain. And I'm only going to take a minute with this. A baby captain is somebody that you really have not done jack crap with. So let's say, for instance, right, I'm looking at my captains list. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this. So I'm looking at like Lucius or Brunhild or Proscope or, the other ones that are down here. I'm going to Torre, all the other ones. I have not done anything with them. They're still at level 1. Ingrid, even though she's a monster badass, I haven't upgraded my monster ability yet to even have it to where she would even be worth it. So right now, she is still at a level 1. If you're fighting on the Swarm and you have it to where you take 3 brand new captains and you take them and load them up with some really good troops or whatever, now granted, they can hold very, very little because they don't have the leadership ability in order to do more than like 120 guardsmen and then like a little bit of mercs. They will still jump up 20, 30, 40, 50 levels from one attack. So if I was like, you know what? I don't want to see any of these guys down here. I want to go through and level them up quickly. So I'm going to take Proscope and Bran and I can't remember her name. I think Zigunian or something like that. And go through and put them together on a, attack. So let's say that I do that. Because why not? Let's just have some fun with it. I'm going to show you exactly, whether or not this is a good idea or a bad idea, and probably a really bad idea. But I don't want to waste a lot of gold anyways trying to show you guys. So it's like, you know what? This kind of works for me. All right, so I put in those 3. I'm not even going to upgrade their armor because, frankly, I don't give a darn. This is just for show. That's all it is. All right, so now I have my 3 captains that I want. I have all my bonuses gone through and activated and everything. And then I'm going to quickly go through and do an attack. So I have my 3 captains. All of them are checked. It automatically will check your dragon, which is nice. And then I'm going to deselect all. And then I'm going to go through and hit select all. See what exactly it can do. Now, usually this is a good idea if you have it to where you don't have like battle griffins or whatever. But for the purposes of this, I don't care. So I have my dragon going. I have my epic monster, only 7 of them going, epic monster hunters. I have 82 of my battle griffins. And then other than that, I don't have any others. And then I have 183. So between the 3 captains at level 1, they only have enough leadership for 183 of my level 6 guys. And don't get me wrong, it is the exact same like pathetic aspect when you're doing it for guardsman level 5, guardsman level 4. It's going to be a really, really small number. Just get used to it. So you can see the enemy troops versus what I have. I'm going to get my butt kicked, but so be it. We're going to start our march, 2 minutes and 10 seconds in order to get it there. And just because of the fact that I really do not like watching my guy march very much, and I do have the extra speed ups, we're going to speed this bad boy up. So go up here to speed up. If you're on your phone, it's still up at the top. Just look at this little taskbar and everything. And then off to the right-hand side, it will have speed up. So I'm going to hit use. Once you get below 25 seconds, you can't go through and speed it up because it has like a minimum of 12 seconds or 11 and 12 seconds that you're allowed to do. So I'm doing my attack. And my guys died. Shocker. But their level went up. So when I'm looking at this, Proscope went up to level 22. That's cool. And then, don't care. We also have it to where Brunhild went up to level 22. That's cool. And we also have it to where whoever the heck the third person was, Z Guying or whatever, she's up at level 22 also. Just from fighting Arachne. Take in your, whatever kind of guys you have, you're going to jump up probably 20 to 50 levels. Pretty much guaranteed. If you have it to where you pair a level 1 up with a powerful person, it might be 30, it might be 40, it might be 50. I think when I did this, I had, the first time, it was to where I had Doria, the Valor Point girl, and she was at level 1. She jumped up to level 52 off of one fight. So this is a really good way in order to take your captains that you're like, hey, you're at level 1, but I really want to go through and develop you. Pair them up with somebody really powerful so that they can jump really super fast, and this would be a good way to do it. So that is Arachne, that is Hellforge as far as the different events. Always make sure that if you have 2 different events paired up, you do Hellforge first, because this way you can upgrade your armor so that therefore you will get more Valor points because you will have a better army fighting into the other epic monster. These 2 are really good. This is strictly for armor. This one is strictly for Valor points. And whenever you do this attack, I'm going to show you what the optimal group is as the last thing. So that was one way of doing it, to where you do baby group. The other way to do it is basically put together your, I can't curse and everything like that, crap kickers. So I'm going to put Hercules in because he is super, super powerful against epic monsters. He's level 203, which means that he adds 406 bonus to my entire army that's fighting an epic level monster. If you don't have Hercules, you might want to get him. The other person I'm going to go through and add in is Doria, because Doria has it to where she adds in that Valor points. Let me click on her. Valor point bonus, 65.5. So it's half of her level. She's at 131. Take half of that is 65.5 points, or percent bonus that she's adding to your Valor points. And then the final one that I did, it depends upon if you have Beowulf. If you don't have Beowulf, I would suggest Cleopatra. She also, for every single percent, or for every single level that you have, adds 1% strength to your army. So I am adding between these guys 406 plus 131. That is 537% increase on my entire army that is going to fight Arachne. And then I go through and I have it to where I have Doria also for Valor points. You know what? Why go through and put it together and not use it? Okay, one other thing I got to go through and warn you guys about, and I've realized this recently. When you're attacking at the exact same time as other people, or you get there right after them, your amount of Valor points that you're going to get is going to go way down. So try and have it to where basically you fight, but when exactly, you like nobody else is around. So I'm going to take my bar, I'm going to move it on over. I'm going to do all the epic level, hunters. Although that would actually probably be stupid because these guys are geared towards Arachne. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to put this up. Well, actually, no, they're not Arachne. They were the Hellforge guys. Yes, I wanted Hellforge as opposed to Arachne. But you know what? Oh, well, who cares? So I added a good bit of these guys in. I probably should get rid of this guy because, yeah, he needs to die. He's only 2 left. So just pump him all the way up. And then we're going to add in our meleeers. We have our riders. We have our spearmen. And now we're up and ready. Okay, so everything's good. Always, always, always double check because I've had times where I forgot the darn dragon. Dumb me. Everything looks good already. All my bonuses are all completely good. Whether or not we're talking VIP or on the right-hand side with our premium or also with our regular bonuses that we should be getting. All right, so we are ready to fight. Always make sure that you double check everything before you go. So we're going to start our march. Hit the speed up all the way. 11 seconds. Fast. Here we go. All right, so Captain leveled up. And it's up to 135. That means that it was Cleopatra, either that or Doria that went up. It was Doria because it says Valor points. So that's a good bonus. Nice. All right. Good to know. We also had Cleopatra go up to 135. So that's good. The strength of the army went up another 4%. And we also had, we had Hercules go up another level. So that's good. He's up at 204 now. Now, for those of you that are just like, well, how much could you get off of that? So down at the bottom, if you ever wonder what exactly you got and you can't do the math from up here. So let's say, for instance, I'm like, okay, I'm at 70 billion right now. I didn't check it beforehand to see exactly what I got. So let's go under journal. And then when you're looking at it, scroll down. Because initially they're going to be like, oh, well, this happened. Oh, well, that happened. Don't care. All right, so now we get down to our attack, what we just did. Let's click on it. So then it will show you exactly what you got. So I got from this. Now, for those of you that are just like, well, it doesn't show your Valor. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to show you exactly how you can compute that. Take the amount of meat that you're getting for your dragon. Multiply it times 10. That's how much Valor I just got. So I got 1.17 billion basic food for my dragon. Multiply that times 10. I got 11.7 billion valor points off of that one fight. Basically what it was. And then also because of the bonus, it ends up being even more than that because of the Doria bonus. So this is a really, really good way to play. She gave me an extra 65%. So that 11.7 million turns into therefore like 18 billion. Yeah, 18 billion-ish. You can also show you the details as far as how the attack went and everything, but no, well. All right, guys. So I think that's good enough for the video. That shows you basically what Hellforge does. That shows you what Arachne does. Shows you everything that you need to look at, whether or not it's the Merc packages. It shows you the bonuses that you got to make sure that are up and ready, and exactly how to go through and strike them in a worthwhile way that actually gives you the max amount of points. I hope you guys liked the video. I will be doing these probably once every single day or two, and then it might get to the point to where I actually start showing you guys how I play on a regular daily basis, and like whether or not it's a live stream or whether or not it's like do a video of it and just post it or whatever. I don't care. We'll see. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, or subscribe, or however the heck you want. And if there's any type of subject that I haven't covered that you would like me to cover, please put a comment in the description or in the, like, you know, or put a comment in the comment section. So that this way I could read them and be like, oh yeah, I really need to cover that, which I might have forgotten about. All right, guys, you have a good day. Bye.